Welcome back, friends. The birds and the bees are performing their very metaphorical dance. Bonfires are everywhere, and people are dancing around the maypole. But what does it all mean? Today, we are talking about all things Beltane, how ancient Celts celebrated it, how it ties in with other seasonal celebrations around the world, and how you can easily celebrate it at home using tools and materials you already have on hand, even if your housemates don't approve. In this video, we're going to cover what Beltane actually is and why you should be celebrating it, some of the history and folklore surrounding this beautiful holiday, the magical correspondences for Beltane so you can celebrate with confidence, and I'll give you 3 simple, easy rituals that you can do at home with what you already have on hand. Plus, I'll give you a bonus one. Let's get into it. So, first things first, what exactly is Beltane? Beltane, sometimes spelled Beltaine or Beltaine or Beltane, depending on the local dialect, is an ancient Gaelic fire festival celebrated on May 1st, also known as May Day. It marks the halfway point between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. And in the old Celtic calendar, it was considered the official beginning of summer. Not meteorological summer, not astronomical summer, summer. As in, we made it. The earth is alive. Let's light some fires and celebrate. And speaking of the fires, the name Beltane literally translates to bright fire, which tells you basically everything you need to know about the vibe. Beltane has its roots in ancient Celtic and Gaelic tradition, originating in Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man. The earliest written references to it go back to Irish mythology and medieval texts, although the festival itself is thought to be far, far older than any written record, likely rooted in pre-Christian and agricultural pastoral rituals. Now here's where it gets really interesting. One of the most iconic Beltane practices wasn't just the bonfire itself. It was driving cattle between 2 large bonfires. The smoke and heat were believed to purify the animals and protect them from disease before summer grazing season. Farmers would also walk between the fires themselves and sometimes leap over the flames as an act of purification and blessing. Think about that for a second. These were real people, thousands of years ago, standing in a field in Scotland or Ireland, leaping over fire to protect their herds and bless their communities going into summer. And now, we're making candles and bath bombs inspired by that tradition. Beltane isn't the only spring fire festival on the wheel. Its close cousin is Walpurgisnacht, celebrated on April 30th in Germany, Scandinavia, and Central Europe, which also involves bonfires, dancing, and warding off evil spirits at the turning of the season. If you've ever heard of the Eve of May in folklore, that is what we are talking about. And then there's May Day itself, May 1st, which is celebrated in many cultures completely separately from its pagan origins, as a celebration of spring, workers' rights, and community. So whether or not you identify as a witch or pagan, Beltane has threads that run through almost every cultural tradition of the Northern Hemisphere spring. Which brings me to why you should be celebrating it. Because it's a reminder to stop, look around, maybe smell the roses, and notice that the world is alive again. After the cold and the dark of winter, and let's be honest, whatever personal winters we've all been through, Beltane is an invitation to celebrate growth, warmth, abundance, and the sheer fact that things are blooming. You don't need to identify with any particular spiritual tradition to find meaning in that. Okay, let's talk correspondences. These are the symbolic ingredients of Beltane, the colors, crystals, herbs, and foods that are energetically aligned with this time of year. Think of them as the aesthetic and energetic palette of the holiday. You don't need all of them. Even 1 or 2 can help you tune into the energy of the season. Crystals. For Beltane, we're working with green aventurine, malachite, rose quartz, carnelian, and green fluorite. Notice the theme? A lot of greens, because we're in full bloom season. Aventurine and malachite are associated with abundance, growth, and luck. Very aligned with the energy of crops and herds coming into their season. Rose quartz, of course, brings in the love and sensual energy that Beltane is known for. And carnelian brings vitality and passion. Very fire festival appropriate. Colors. The colors of Beltane are green for fertility, growth, and the earth in full bloom, red and pink for passion and love, and white or silver for purity and the liminal quality of the holiday. If you are setting up an altar or just want to dress the part, those are your colors. Foods. This is my favorite part. Beltane foods are rich, sensual, and seasonal. We're talking homemade bread and honey cakes, because Beltane was historically a time of celebrating abundance and sweetness. Seasonal fruits like strawberries, asparagus, which is perfectly in season right now, and any foods traditionally considered aphrodisiacs, oysters, chocolate, honey, because Beltane has always been associated with fertility and life force energy in all its forms. If you're hosting a Beltane dinner with your chosen family, those are your ingredients. And honestly, a table full of honey cakes and strawberries sounds like a fantastic Thursday to me. Herbs. The herbs for Beltane are mugwort, damiana, nettle, and elderflower. Mugwort is a classic ritual herb associated with dreams, intuition, and liminal states. Perfect for a cross-quarter holiday. Damiana is traditionally associated with love and sensuality. Nettle, despite being prickly, is deeply nourishing and connected to protection and vitality. It's also fantastic for helping seasonal allergies. And elderflower is in bloom right around Beltane and has a long history of use in love magic and fairy lore. You can incorporate these as teas, in sachets, as incense, or as additions to a ritual bath, which, spoiler alert, is one of our rituals today. Alright, here's where the magic happens. Literally. Let's talk about how to actually celebrate Beltane. I'm going to give you a few general activities and then 3 specific rituals, plus a bonus. The classic Beltane activities are dancing the maypole, having a bonfire, doing fertility or abundance spell work, and sharing a meal with your people using seasonal foods. A quick word on the fertility piece. Fertility is a deeply personal topic. If you're doing fertility spell work, wonderful. But please do go back and watch our video on love spells first, because intention and consent are important even in your own practice. And fertility magic doesn't have to be about babies. It can be about creative projects, financial growth, relationship abundance, or any area of your life where you want things to flourish. Fertility just means the capacity to bring something new into the world. If you are personally struggling with fertility, I want you to know, I see you and I stand with you in solidarity. This holiday is for you too, in whatever form that takes. And if having children is simply not your choice, that is perfectly valid and does not make the holiday any less yours. Abundance comes in many forms for everybody. Now for the rituals. The bonfire, or the candle fire. If you have the space and ability to have an actual bonfire, do it. Build it intentionally. Before you light it, write down on a slip of paper something you want to release. A fear, a limiting belief, a habit that's been holding you back, or somebody's name that's been holding you back, and something you want to call in for the season ahead. Feed the release into the fire, speak your intention aloud, and watch it transform. This is a great time to take those names out of the freezer if you did that in our freezer spell video. The link to that will be in the description. Stand near the fire. Let it warm you. If it's safe and you're feeling bold, you can leap over a small fire or even a line of candles as a symbolic act of purification, just as the ancient Celts did. If you live in an apartment, a city, or simply don't have outdoor space, no problem. A ring of candles works beautifully. Set them up on a fireproof surface, light them with intention, and do the same writing practice. That fire is symbolic. What matters is your presence and your intention. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't have a maypole. I don't either. And that's fair. But the energy of the maypole is really about weaving together opposites, the masculine and the feminine, individual and community, and celebrating that union through movement and joy. If you have a group of people, you can absolutely do a simple version. Find a tall stick or pole, attach ribbons in your Beltane colors, green, pink, white, and dance around it, weaving the ribbons as you go. It is genuinely fun and a little chaotic and very much in the spirit of the holiday. Now, if you are practicing solo like I am, the spirit of this ritual is about movement and joy. Put on music that makes you feel alive. Dance in your living room. Braid some ribbons into your hair, or tie them to your wrist. Move your body in celebration of being in a body. That is the whole point. One of the most underrated rituals you can do for any Sabbath is simply cooking and sharing food with intention. For Beltane, gather your chosen family. Friends, partner, coven, whoever your people are, and prepare a meal using seasonal ingredients. Just did this last weekend for Ostara. We're talking bread baked from scratch, or from a good dough, a honey cake for dessert, a big bowl of strawberries, asparagus roasted with olive oil, which is also very closely associated with love, a cheese board, sparkling wine, or elderflower cordial if you don't drink alcohol. Light candles in green and red, or pink. Put on music that feels like a warm May evening. Before you eat, go around the table and have everyone share one thing that is blooming in their life right now. One thing they are calling in for the summer. It takes 2 minutes, and it transforms a dinner into a ritual. If you want to add a bonfire element after dinner, go outside together, light a fire or a candle circle, and do the fire ritual from Ritual 1 together. That right there is a full Beltane celebration. And now, your bonus ritual, the one near and dear to my heart, the ritual bath. A ritual bath is one of the most accessible and genuinely luxurious things that you can do for yourself, and Beltane is a perfect excuse. Here's what you need: a bath bomb or some bath salts, ideally with some of our Beltane herbs or scents, like rose, elderflower, or lavender, a body oil or body butter for after, some music that feels rich and sensual and alive, a candle, green, red, or white, and optionally, a crystal. Green aventurine, a rose quartz placed near the tub works beautifully. Dry your bath. Add your salts or your bath bomb. Light your candle. Put on your music. And before you get in, hold your intention for the season in your mind. What do you want to grow? What do you want to nourish? What do you want to feel more of? State it out loud or in your head, and then get in the bath and just let yourself be held by the water. When you get out, anoint yourself with your body oil from feet to crown while thinking about all of the ways you are abundant, growing, and alive. This is not a small thing. This is a full act of self-honoring. Now, if you're a shower person, I see you and I've got you. Shower with an exfoliating soap or scrub. Use some shower steamers. Apply some body butter after. Play your music, light a candle outside the shower. Put a piece of green aventurine or rose quartz on a shelf nearby. The water is still cleansing. The intention still lands. You can also read something that nurtures your soul in the bath. A poem, a chapter of a book, anything that feeds you. Beltane is about fullness. Give yourself some. Now, if you're looking for a little help putting your ritual bath together, you may be curious about the Gin and Tonic Beltane collection. I wanted to include essential oils that are closely associated with love and passion, going a bit more sensual than the lighter, more floral Ostara collection. Our new Beltane collection is rich and sensual. We're talking rose, patchouli, jasmine, lavender, vanilla, and lemon balm. It smells like a garden party at golden hour, and I am genuinely obsessed with it. The link will be in the description below. I'm so proud of this candle. Thank you so much for joining me today. Beltane is one of my absolute favorite points on the wheel of the year, and I hope this gave you everything you need to celebrate it in a way that feels authentic to you. Whether that is a full bonfire feast with your coven, a solo ritual bath, or just lighting a green candle and eating some strawberries while thinking about what you want to grow this summer. All of it counts. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It genuinely helps this channel more than you know. And leave a comment below telling me, what rituals do you do for Beltane? I read every single one. If you want more of this, check out our full Wheel of the Year series. There's a link in the description, and I'll put a card up here. Each video covers a different sabbat with the same structure: history, correspondences, and easy rituals for every kind of practice. And be sure to join us next week, when we'll be talking about what is and what isn't witchcraft. I'll see you then. As always, every accusation is a confession. Free Palestine. Protect the First Amendment. Justice for Casey Goodson Jr. And do not let up on the Epstein files. Survivors deserve justice and accountability. Until next week.